Here we go. Once again, the Islamic State has reportedly destroyed another significant landmark in the ancient city of Palmyra. Well, this time it's the Temple of Baal Shamin, which stood for nearly 2,000 years, only to be leveled in a matter of seconds by ISIS. This time, Margaret, we're not talking about a statue. We're not talking about a temple being looted, then taking sledgehammers. According to Mamum Abdul Karim, who's Syria's antiquities chief, they went in there with TNT and blew the whole thing up. He said it went down in a matter of seconds. There is some confusion about when the temple was actually destroyed. AFP and a lot of other sources here were saying that it was destroyed yesterday on Sunday. But then we have the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. They said it happened over a month ago. Someone who escaped from Palmyra was talking to a journalist, and it took him quite a long time to escape from there. And that's how the news initially broke out. But like I said, extremely sad to see such a big piece of freestanding. Okay, that's it right there. So we've seen statues go. We've seen individual things get looted. Right, this is before.
Okay.
Now it's just rubble. It's nothing but rubble. But this is the first time now that we're seeing freestanding temples and columns that are being compromised and being destroyed. And now it's just a matter of time. They're saying, when's the amphitheater going to go? When's everything else in Palmyra going to go? Now, we were talking not long ago about Dr. Khalid El-Assad, who was the archaeologist who was actually named Mr. Palmyra. He had been living there for 40 years until his retirement in 2003. He was taken by ISIS. He was executed by them on the 18th in the center of the city, where he spent all of his life striving to protect that city. So it's extremely ironic that he went out that way, extremely sad. But he didn't leave, he didn't run away like a lot of other people did. He stayed there until the very end. Unfortunately, he paid with his life. But
it's disgusting.
We're just seeing the destruction of this ancient UNESCO site, World Heritage Site, and it's so sad.
Right, Nick, you know, this reminds me of the Nazis, what they did when they went in and conquered a region. They would destroy the history, you know, steal the art, destroy what they couldn't take. And, you know, you really destroy civilization, the entire makeup of a people by destroying their history. That's the same concept here for me. And until these thugs are stopped, we're not, you know, there isn't a solution without stopping it. You know, we can talk about how disgusting this is, and it is disgusting, but until an authority larger than ISIS comes to the table and says, no, you're going to quit this, and this is really terrible. We don't need to forget how awful this is, but at the same time, they're beheading people as well. You know, they're destroying human life along with these precious artifacts.
Yeah, that is very true. And actually, you know, in some ways, indirectly, they are being funded by wealthier countries in the West. I mean, who do you think that they're selling these precious ancient artifacts, these coins? They have their own team of archaeologists out there retrieving all these artifacts, and they're selling them on the black market to buyers in Europe, to buyers here in the U.S. So indirectly, they are being funded by the very people who talk about how terrible they are. So that in itself is a little bit ironic. But, you know, it just shows, you know, when they're not looting, when they're not beheading people in the ancient city.
When they're not raping, murdering, blowing up precious artifacts, what are they doing in their downtime, I wonder? Don't
want to know. Well, we want to know what you guys have to say about this ancient city. This is just one temple, I know, but you can't forget that there's hundreds of other freestanding columns and even that huge amphitheater, that beautiful amphitheater that has been all over the news. So we want to know what you guys think about the future of this ancient city and maybe even other sites throughout the Middle East, and ISIS erasing essentially their own history. I know this goes before Muhammad, but still, it's part of that ancient civilization in Iraq and Syria. Let us know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Lift TV for more.